Yo bros, PlayStation Fever here, bringing you a super duper amazing, oh my god, it's overdue review on Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified for the PlayStation Vita. This was supposed to redeem Nailstick's performance with Burning Skies, which I didn't think it performed so well, but it was the first person shooters, and obviously it was their first attempt at making a PlayStation Vita game, so I let it slide a little bit though. So this was their second chance, and boy did they fail in delivering in that department. But let's go ahead and start with the single player. And I don't think you can call this a traditional campaign because it wasn't that. What it was instead was snippet missions, right, which take roughly around 5 to 15 minutes. Really repetitive. All you did was you're just by yourself. You just shoot a bunch of enemies. You go from point A to point B, and that was it. It did offer a little bit different, where there's like night vision and stuff like that. And there was one mission where you just pretty much were a sniper and you were shooting at enemies. But really, I felt like that should have been a part of a mission, not the whole mission itself. And it didn't offer anything different, right? It was just simple, really repetitive, and really uninspiring. One of the things that will piss you off the most, if you hate dying, boy, will you die a lot in this game. That's correct, because there are absolutely no checkpoints. It doesn't matter which mode or difficulty you choose, because all of it, if you end up being 5 seconds of finishing the level and you die and get shot, you pretty much start from the beginning. There's no exceptions, no checkpoints, which makes the game much more of a chore and a frustration that it is enjoyable, to the point where even I stopped bothering or caring about the damn single player, if you call it quote-unquote single player, and I stopped caring about the cutscenes just because it was so irritating and so frustrating with the game that I just stopped caring about it. Overall, the single player is very forgettable. The character design is really poor made. The gun sounds are poor made as well. They're a little bit better than Burning Skies though, but there's no performance or anything huge, like wow, it didn't wow me whatsoever. The single player just wasn't that good. But usually people buy Call of Duty for its multiplayer, and to be honest, it wasn't too bad at all. It was actually surprisingly fun. It had 6 maps, 4 modes: kill confirm, team deathmatch, and drop zone. It didn't actually have anything like capture the flag, domination, demolition, nothing like that, which would have been a nice addition for it, but it didn't have it. It was actually 6 maps, 4 versus 4, and at the time, like, why 4 versus 4? I know the PlayStation Vita is capable of having more players, but that's what it was. The maps were actually really uninspiring. Maybe there's 1 or 2 good maps, but everyone else, I feel that just I wasn't really found upon. If you thought Nuke House was terrible and really small, well then Nuketown takes the cake, because it's just pretty much half of what that is, and just essentially the same thing. It offers nothing new, and it's really just really reused Call of Duty, and just nothing new was added on the multiplayer. There was nothing to be like, wow, this is actually really cool and interesting. It just, if anything, it was more of a downgrade than an upgrade. But I will say this, it did have a nice variety of weapons. It didn't actually have a kill cam, which was just sad that it didn't have that. I wish it did, because that's what makes Call of Duty so interesting and fun, because of that kill cam. It did have kill streaks, which is nice. It did have more recognizable and memorable weapons, but the problem is there's still lag issues, there's glitches and stuff like that, and Nailstick essentially pretty much died, and they don't develop PlayStation Vita games, which means there are no updates for the game itself. But surprisingly enough, it's the second best PlayStation Vita game, so there's still people playing it online despite the problems and issues, just because it was a Call of Duty game. Now, if you don't have online connection, there's still hostiles, which again isn't anything of an upgrade, it's again more of a downgrade. While Modern Warfare 3 version of hostiles wasn't so fun to me, if anything, it didn't offer anything new that didn't have. For instance, it's the same thing, you kill rounds, waves of enemies and stuff like that, improve or upgrade some weapons, but again, it didn't have anything new. For instance, you couldn't play locally with another PlayStation Vita owner, like ad hoc, and it didn't have multiplayer, so you couldn't play with anyone else within hostiles, which again itself, it was just you by yourself, just killing waves of enemies, and it got really repetitive and really boring. And the maps were really small for these. Usually, you would think they would actually open it up like in Zombies, when you get more money and stuff like that, you end up opening, doors and whatnot, and expands the map itself. But for this one, it didn't even have that, and I thought Hostile was really bland. It's something I really didn't even bother to touch. It also had time trial, but again, it wasn't anything new. It was just simple stuff. You just shoot within time limits and try to get some trophies and stars like that. It was nice that they had it though, but whatever. So overall, what do I think? Well, when the game came out, it was for $50, right? A $50 game, which also included an older Call of Duty game. I think it was called Roads to Victory, which I never downloaded, and again, it was probably like $10, $15 on the PlayStation Network by itself. Whether that would justify the reason why it was $50 or not, again, it would have been nice if they didn't include it, because I'd never played it. This was Nailstick's second attempt to redeem themselves from Burning Skies, and boy did they fail in so many points. Again, single player was really forgettable, had some issues, really boring. Multiplayer had some lag issues. It was still fun though, but still should have been better than what it was. Overall, it was the second best PlayStation Vita game sold. If this game would have been made properly by a different developing team, it probably would have held the PlayStation Vita in sales and would have been still played today by even more PlayStation Vita owners. Overall, I give the game a 3 out of 10 because this Nailstick should have, learned from their mistakes and improved on it. Instead, they kind of did a downgrade within that and should have been a better game. It should have been the killer app, but again, they messed it up. Sony messed up on their part for not making a more proper Call of Duty game. So there you have it. For more PlayStation Vita, PS3, and PlayStation 4 gameplays, contents, and reviews, make sure to hit that subscribe button for PlayStation Fever. Take care, guys. Subscribe, like, and comments. Till the next one. Sweet!